Hello everyone, I'm going to talk about my project for comparison of 5 different ethical hacking tools on 2 types of operation system. The project will demonstrating the method of finding the vulnerabilities and flaws in the network or any application or any system, any operation system, and we can simulate the normal attack, a test attack, see how it goes when the policy of the security is not followed, so we can see how it's easy to dig into the system, steals information, or maybe access to the crucial information. Maybe the hacker asks money. It's very important to check for the vulnerabilities during an implementation or after. There are lots of applications that are installed on Parrot and Kali that can give us the opportunity to check, to do a pen testing on the network and find the flaws and vulnerabilities there. The plan is to install and use 3 different VMs that are working to different operation environment. One is Parrot, one is Kali, one is Windows operation system. Parrot and Kali are based on Linux, Windows, of course, Windows, and there is no any big difference between Parrot and Kali. Both are on Linux environment, but both actually have more than 600 pen testing application is already there. We can maybe just with a quick installation, we can start using that. Also, we need Windows operation system because there are lots of users, lots of developers are using this operation system. It's very important to see how we can find a flaw there, or maybe vulnerability there, and we can tackle that. We can do it pen test attack there, test attack there to find how it goes if there is a flaw. These 3 networks should be in the same network. They should be connected together through the virtual LAN because we are using a VMware workstation. There is no any difference if we use host only NIC virtual card or NAT. Actually, these projects we are going to use NAT because 2 applications are cloud-based, so we need to have access to the internet. NAT uses DHCP server. It goes through the DHCP server, gives a specific IP address to the 3 machines, so they can be connected. They can ping each other very easy, no problem there. The challenges faced, the most challenging part for me was installing the OpenVAS application. OpenVAS, it says it's installed, but it's not. There are lots of prerequisites that needs to be done before even be able to open the GUI system in the browser. Sometimes the library is gone or missing. Sometimes it's already is not installed even, so we need to come from the beginning. So install GVM app, the OpenVAS, and then sometimes we need to even reset the username, the password for the admin username. Another challenge was having external Wi-Fi hardware that wasn't easy for me to tackle that because my laptop Wi-Fi doesn't support the monitoring mode, and for tracking the four-way handshake on an authenticating part when we want to have access to get connected to a Wi-Fi or access point. We need the information, but I could simulate that so we can see how much it's easy. Can it be easy if the password is not as strong? We can crack the Wi-Fi password. Another challenge was running actual like application or maybe domain to have it check. Uh, so I just simulate a normal web page, and I could see we can see that how it's easy to crack password. We can see that in my project. I choose Parrot, Kali, and Windows, as I said, because users are usually using these two operation system, and also developers and network designers also using mostly this operation system. And we need to know how we can find the problems there in either of each, and also how we can tackle them, and we can demonstrate how we can like dig into the system among these 2 different operation systems. OpenVAS, of course, installed on Parrot. Not big difference between Parrot and Kali, but I choose Parrot maybe because maybe there should be a conflict between the other applications, so installed on Parrot. AirCrack should be installed on a local host because this application needs to have access to the actual uh, Wi-Fi hard drive. But VMware Workstation doesn't provide this feature, so we cannot get access to the Wi-Fi NIC from inside the VM. So I had to install it on the local host. Microsoft Baseline Security Analyzer, another application I'm going to use, is going to be installed on a Windows VMware because, as its name comes, it finds a security problem on the Microsoft operating system. Crash Test and Inside AppSec both are cloud-based application. We need to just get a trial version, as we don't want to pay for them for this project. So we just need to sign up, get the trial version, 14 days for crash test security and 30 days for Inside AppSec. So it's enough for us to do a testing. The vulnerabilities that we are going to talk about is network vulnerabilities is the first number, the number one, because this problem actually refers to the issues in the network's hardware or software that provide the opportunity for a hacker or an attacker to dig into our system, intrude our system. It can come from the improper configuration of firewalls or a secure Wi-Fi access point, and or maybe a weak password or open ports. And we can see how an attacker can penetrate our system and contaminate it or steal the information. And maybe it's just a start for digging more to other parts of the network. Broken access controls, another vulnerability, refers to improper or poor user restrictions on an application. Untrusted or malicious users can exploit this vulnerability in order to illegally gain access to the application. It comes from maybe weak authentication or authorization mechanism that allows the attacker to gain illegitimate privilege. Can be prevented by a simple security policy or maybe simple training to users. Software and data integrity vulnerability refers to the assumptions made during the software update, adding plugins, add-ons, libraries, or module. So when the user wants to add another feature to their already installed application, so they install another module or plugin, or adding a library or add-on. If it comes from untrusted source, it might be already injected by a hacker, so they can easily dig into our system, because as long as they don't have access to the actual machine, maybe don't have password, username, or anything, so by installing this malicious add-in, this virus can send the information from the local host to the server of the hacker, and then they can have access to this. And maybe the attacker can just impersonate the source in an injected network and get into the source code of a local application. Another vulnerability is insecure design. It's a very important part of the implementation and finding the problem of a network, because we cannot make lots of changes after the network is implemented and users start working with it, or maybe the application is already developed and is already been released to the market. So this should be taken care of before any release or any like in the real world implementation. This is why developer usually uses normal users or advanced users to check the application. They can go through the pen testing part and find the flaws, fix it, and then release the application. Another one is identification and authentication failures. Arises due to improper implementation of authentication and session management. For example, if a web page is using the HTTP rather HTTPS, we know what is the difference between HTTP and HTTPS, so the information can be read by an attacker if someone is in the middle and listen to the conversation. And also it comes with a weak password actually, and it's not really easy to monitor, because the training should be provided to the user. The tackling part should be implemented before the user start using that, because as long as the hacker have access to these flaws, the network gonna be down very easy. Let's go to the project execution part. So as I said, OpenVAS wasn't easy to be installed in the Parrot part, but I did some research, so we can run GVM setup to set up the application, the actual OpenVAS application. And after that it shows a default password for the user admin. We can copy and paste that information, or maybe we can change that. I changed the user default password for the default admin username. That wasn't a big deal for me. Maybe there are libraries missing. We need to find the libraries with the command LDD shows not found, so we can look for the library in another path and link that library to that main path so they can the application, so the application can be run properly. After that, we may need see that some other information is missing. So like if we run tail, that if this command gvm.log, we can see it says no SCAP database found, or maybe another problem is uh, data, other GVMD data wasn't found. So we can run this command, find the problem, and run from command feed sync. It can sync the data from the server and get the information there to be installed on the local machine. After everything is done, we can have access to the dashboard with the address localhost, the port 9392 or 127001. It opens up the dashboard. We can see the dashboard here. Actually have it here. I changed the password for the admin, so we can see the scan has already been done. We can go here, create a task, create new task, create a small wizard. We can go to configuration to add some targets, range of the targets. Also, we can create port list. I created another port list that is included all TCP and UDP port, which all in all is about 131,000 ports that it can teach. Of course, it's going to take too long to check all these port numbers, but we can do that. We have this option. It gives us a report and all actually helpful information. So after the report is provided, we can see what the problem are. And one of the problem that I face is the ICMP protocol is open and the firewall is off. Firewall doesn't check that, so we can easily attack that protocol. I did a DOS attack with a small syntax like hping3, which is already available in Palo Kali environment. I did that, and my Windows 10 completely gone down. The CPU usage went up, the memory usage went up, the Ethernet usage went up. So if like same host, and I have another host, like 2-3 different hosts, we can completely down the Windows that has this problem. Another application is AirCrack. As I said, AirCrack needs to be installed in a local host, as it needs to be have access to the actual Wi-Fi equipment, the drive. So I installed in my local machine. We can have access to the CLI if we add these paths to the environment variables. Also, it has GUI that shows. Actually, I have it here. So yeah, as a GUI version, we can give it a cap file, we can give a word list, and then it goes through the SSID name and find the password. If the password is not very complicated password and the password is inside the word list, actually it uses a cap file and dictionary list. Cap file is the data coming from the four-way handshake when a client wants to connect to an access point. We don't know any information about that SSID. We just maybe see the name. So we need to run the Wireshark. And if we run the Wireshark, except the Wi-Fi here, we can see, and if we have an external Wi-Fi, it shows Wi-Fi monitor mode. Monitor mode monitor all the data packets come from in the environment wirelessly, not just my local Wi-Fi packets. So, and then you can just try to connect to the Wi-Fi with any clients, any device, and then we can read the information, the four-way handshake. After getting that information, we can save the file and give the file to the team application, give the word list maybe if we need to find any password for WPA encryption, and if the password is not complicated, can find it. Yeah, so this is like a sample cap file. It concluded the SSID number and SSID name and encryption methods, and we can give it a word list, and if it's not complicated, it can find it. Another application is Microsoft based on Security Analyzer. Of course, it needs to be installed on Microsoft operating system. It goes through, check all the security issues that may be there, and of course, it's very helpful for users that are using or administrators that are dealing with the operation system of Windows, because it finds a problem and it gives you information about how you can tackle that problem. So for example, it says a weak password. So how we can tackle that? It says the password is this problem and you need to take care of this by doing these steps. And I'm gonna show you how we can easily find the password if the password is very weak. We have a username Alex here that the password is 123456. Of course, the password is not very strong. So there is the module that can be added to PowerShell. The module name is PowerBrute Logon. After we add this module to the PowerShell, we can run the command, give the dictionary list, and easily find the password. The code is this one, the username is Alex, of course, and this word is, and 123456 found the password. Crash Test Security is a cloud-based application. We need to log, sign up there. It gives us 14 days trial version. When we create our account, we can log in there, we can run a test, run a scan on the website application is installed locally or on the domain on the cloud. It shows us a problem, where the problem occurs and how we can tackle that. It rates the problem, the issues with high or a number and medium or maybe low. There is a problem about HTTP. One part of the website or application was HTTP, so it means that the data is not encrypted. So I run a normal web page that's not HTTPS and ask for information. So like simple information like my name. And if I run the Wireshark and listen to the packet, I can find the information here really easy. And my name is here written. I click submit and I can see the information has been sent to the server. Another application is Insight AppSec. Also, this is a cloud-based version. We need to sign up, gives us 30 days trial version. We can run a test, and the good news is it has its own test domain. We can run the test on the test domain provided by this application, and we can see the problems, and we can like specifically be mentioned what the problem is exactly, what the problem occurred, and how we can tackle that. And also, if we install Google Chrome and add-ons for this application, we can do simple attack here by this key, reply attack. So it sends the attack, simulate the attack, and see when the problem is there, what the attack can be. Thank you for listening.